Lies and misinformation as far and as wide as possible. They're not interested in victims. They're interested in themselves.
The world's most powerful billionaire just humiliated Britain's Prime Minister on a live broadcast watched by millions, and no one saw it coming. Elon Musk didn't just call out Keir Starmer, he exposed him piece by piece with evidence so damning that even Angela Rayner, Starmer's closest ally, was left completely stunned, silent, and visibly shaken. This wasn't politics as usual. This was a digital firing squad, a public unmasking of corruption, lies, and cover-ups that could destroy Starmer's entire career. What Musk revealed in those explosive moments may not just end Starmer's time in office. It could rewrite the future of Britain itself. The clock is ticking, the stakes are global, and what you're about to hear could change everything you thought you knew about who really holds power in the United Kingdom. The live exposure. It started like any other high-profile livestream. A highly promoted political Q&A hosted on Musk's own platform, billed as a discussion on free speech and democracy. Starmer and his team thought it would be a controlled event, a chance to polish their image before the next election. But Musk had a very different plan. From the very first minute, the tone was electric. Over 20 million people were watching live as Musk began asking sharp, direct questions. Not the soft, rehearsed questions Starmer was expecting, but raw, unfiltered challenges. Starmer tried to smile to play the statesman, but within minutes his composure started to crack. Musk had come prepared with files, videos, and internal documents, proof that couldn't be denied or spun by clever political language. The first bombshell dropped like a thunderclap. Musk displayed an internal directive from the Crown Prosecution Service signed during the years when Starmer was its head. It revealed that police and prosecutors were explicitly ordered to ignore grooming gang cases involving vulnerable young girls, because the offenders came from protected communities. For a split second, there was silence. Then the livestream chat exploded with rage. Thousands of furious comments poured in per second, demanding answers. Starmer stammered, denying knowledge of the document, but Musk wasn't finished. He calmly read aloud the exact wording of the directive, his voice cold and precise, while a live fact-check overlay confirmed its authenticity. "You knew children were being raped," Musk said, his tone deadly serious. "And instead of protecting them, your office chose political correctness over justice." Angela Rayner, seated beside Starmer, looked visibly shaken. She leaned forward, whispering urgently, her face pale as she realised the magnitude of what was unfolding. Starmer, cornered in front of a global audience, tried to change the subject, talking about community harmony and responsible policing. But Musk cut him off, saying, "Don't talk about harmony while victims are still waiting for justice. Tell the truth here and now." As the pressure mounted, Musk shifted to the arrests of ordinary British citizens for social media posts. Grandmothers, veterans, and peaceful protesters jailed for what they said online. He pulled up footage of 55-year-old Bernie Spayforth being dragged from her home in handcuffs for sharing a post about the Southport attacker. The audience's outrage reached a boiling point. "Is this your vision of democracy?" Musk demanded. "You jail innocent citizens for their words while violent criminals walk free." Starmer's response was weak, filled with rehearsed phrases about public safety. But Musk wasn't letting go. He then revealed encrypted messages from senior officials showing that Starmer personally approved the crackdown on online speech after the summer riots. A crackdown that saw over 400 people arrested, many of them simply for sharing opinions. Angela Rayner's reaction in this moment went viral instantly. Her jaw dropped and she turned towards Starmer with an expression of shock and disbelief, as though seeing him for the first time. The audience could feel the tension. It was no longer just Musk versus Starmer. It was Starmer versus his own deputy leader. The livestream had now crossed into historic territory. Global leaders were reportedly watching in real time. In Washington, members of Trump's team were glued to their screens, knowing that this confrontation could reshape the special relationship between the US and the UK markets began to tremble as investors sensed the instability. Hashtags like Starmer exposed and Rayner stunned began trending worldwide within minutes. Then Musk dropped his final revelation for this round, a shocking video recording from a whistleblower inside the British government. In it, senior officials discussed how to suppress the grooming gang scandal, to avoid community tensions and protect the Prime Minister's reputation. One official was heard saying, if the public knew the scale of this, they would tear the government. The live stream was over, but its shockwaves were only beginning to spread. Within minutes, Musk's explosive revelations had shattered the carefully controlled narrative Starmer's government had built. Across Britain, millions of citizens who had been silent or afraid to speak out suddenly found their voices. Hashtags like Starmer exposed justice, For the victims, and Rayner stunned, dominated global trends. News outlets scrambled to keep up, but they were already behind. The story wasn't being shaped by mainstream media. It was unfolding live on Musk's platform X, where every second brought new evidence, new whistleblowers, and new outrage. Angela Rayner's stunned reaction became the defining image of the night. A single freeze frame of her wide-eyed disbelief was shared over 10 million times in the first hour. To many, she wasn't just shocked, she looked betrayed. The public began to question whether Rayner had known about the cover-ups, or if she had been kept in the dark by Starmer himself. Inside Westminster, rumours swirled that senior Labour MPs were preparing to distance themselves from Starmer to save their own careers. His inner circle, once unbreakable, was fracturing in real time. But while Britain reeled, Musk was already thinking globally. As Starmer's team scrambled to do damage control, Musk launched a coordinated campaign that turned a domestic scandal into an international crisis. He began releasing evidence directly to foreign governments, bypassing traditional diplomatic channels. His message was clear: you are either on the side of truth and freedom, or you are complicit in covering up crimes against your own citizens. The United States was the first to respond. Members of Trump's team went public with statements condemning Starmer's government, calling for a full investigation into human rights abuses. Behind the scenes, Musk reportedly had direct conversations with Trump himself, urging him to consider sanctions against Britain if Starmer refused to step down. American intelligence officials began quietly reassessing their partnership with MI5 and MI6, worried that sensitive information could no longer be trusted with a government tainted by corruption. Meanwhile, across Europe, leaders were split. Some condemned Musk, accusing him of interfering in a sovereign nation's politics. Others privately agreed with his accusations, but feared the chaos that might follow if Starmer fell. NATO allies watched nervously as tensions grew, knowing that Britain's political collapse could destabilise the entire alliance. Inside Britain, the streets were boiling. Protesters flooded London, Manchester, Birmingham, and other major cities. Some demanded Starmer's resignation, others called for immediate elections, and a growing number were openly supporting Reform UK. The anti-establishment party Musk had quietly backed. Police forces already stretched thin were ordered to maintain order, but many officers privately sympathised with the protesters, especially after Musk released footage showing peaceful citizens jailed, while violent criminals received lenient sentences. Angela Rayner faced an impossible choice. In public, she said little, claiming she needed time to process what had been revealed. But insiders leaked that she had privately confronted Starmer, demanding to know if the allegations were true. Her silence only fueled speculation that she might break away and lead a rebellion against her own party leader. The possibility of a Labour Party split loomed larger by the hour. Starmer himself vanished from public view, retreating into closed-door meetings with advisors and legal teams. But every hour he remained silent. Musk filled the void. Through a relentless stream of posts, documents, and live streams, Musk kept control of the narrative. He didn't just reveal corruption, he framed the entire fight as a battle for the soul of democracy. His words were simple but powerful. If they can silence you in Britain, they can silence you anywhere. Then came the second wave of revelations. Musk released encrypted audio recordings from inside Starmer's office. In one clip, senior officials can be heard discussing how to manage public backlash over the grooming gang cover-ups. One voice identified as a top aide says chillingly, "The victims are a political problem, not a justice issue. Handle it quietly." The recordings were undeniable. Even Starmer's most loyal defenders struggled to explain them. The impact was catastrophic. Civil liberties organisations called for emergency parliamentary hearings. Human rights lawyers announced a coalition to file international lawsuits against the British government. Some MPs began openly calling for Starmer's immediate resignation, warning that if he stayed in power, Britain could face sanctions or even diplomatic isolation. But Musk wasn't stopping at exposure. He was building an alternative. Behind the scenes, he had